How's it going, everyone? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMoviescreenings.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be The Great Wall. This one stars Matthew Damon, and he plays a mercenary that goes to the Great Wall in search for some black powder, and he starts fighting some giant lizard creatures. That's your movie, folks. So, listen, I saw the trailers going into this film. I was not looking forward to it. I thought the CGI looked terrible, and I thought it looked like it was just a very cheesy movie. It didn't really look like it was going to be having any weight or substance or any like actual real drama to like care about, in between, the monster battles or whatever. And I was right. This is a mixture of a bad movie, an okay movie, and a visually awesome movie. So let's get real and break down their Great Wall. So let's start with the writing and directing, because I believe that this category alone is the strength and the weakness of the entire film. Let's start with the writing. The actual story itself. The concept behind the movie is actually intriguing. I think it would make for a very interesting type of monster movie. The problem is, the actual structure of the film is all over the place. They introduce subplots that just really go nowhere and have no weight to them whatsoever. Each sequence in the movie is either very poorly edited and rushed, or it's just boring and dull, and you just want to like fall asleep in your chair. I just didn't really care about anything. I think what it boils down to is that the overall story, yeah, I appreciate the actual concept around it, but I just thought it was executed poorly with, like I said, the extra characters and subplots that just really don't go anywhere. There's no emotional substance to the film. I'm not looking for an Oscar-worthy picture, but could you at least give me a little bit of care into the characters? It's just I really didn't care about anything going on. The battle sequences were cool. And I really appreciate the visual style of the film. The directing portion of this film, in terms of the visual aspect, the visual storytelling, was a spectacle. I really loved all the battle sequences, whether they be, very short and rushed or not. They were visually stunning. And it's some of the best use of green screen and CGI I've seen in a movie, in a very long time. I thought the overall direction visually was very well put together, but direction story-wise, characters and acting, let's throw that out the window. Dialogue, atrocious. And it's almost like as if it was written to appeal to American audiences, be like, yeah, did you hear that joke? That was supposed to be for you guys. That was funny, right? No, the humor was very awkward, and it just didn't really come off natural at all. It's just like they come on the screen, they'll say a joke like, yeah. And they should have just like turned to the camera and did like a wink or something like Deadpool. And it'd be like, did you find that funny? We told a joke. Yeah, thanks. So that was really bad. Characters, once again, they are either extremely underdeveloped, dull, or just flat out boring. Like I said, didn't really care about any of the characters. Nothing was at stake. It just seemed like some characters were just like come into a scene, go out, go into another scene down the movie, come out, and then just die. Cool. I didn't really care about you. There was no weight to anything, so there was no risk or anything or risk or a level of danger. That's what I meant, to anything happening to any of the characters. They were like superheroes. They're like jumping down, chains and whatnot, and it's like, what? So it just seemed like all these humans, except for a few of them, were invincible, and it just didn't. No, there's no development to whatsoever. There's no care, and really no. And also another thing with the story is that, going back to the whole rush thing, usually in an action film or a battle film, you will have three separate action sequences. You'll have the opener, you have the middle one, and you'll have the closer that kind of end the movie on that kind of like high note, if you will. Usually the first fight in the film is usually very intense and gets you hooked. The second one, it's not as long as the first one, but it's still engaging to like kind of, just make you feel excited throughout the movie. And it also has it to where like the end of the battle, the the stakes are risen and the danger is there. So going into the third battle, you feel a little bit of hesitation for the characters. When you get to the third battle, it's supposed to be the epic climax. You are ready to go, balls to the wall, full throttle. This movie even abolishes those laws. So the first fight in the actual film is actually really well done. It was very intense. I thought the visuals were pretty good. Some of the shots, sequences to the battles were very well done, even though they weren't really tactically sound. You'll understand what I'm talking about when you see it, but they were so cool to look at. The second one was like a fourth of that runtime of the first one, and it just happened so quick. The third one, they discover something that's happening, and literally within 30 seconds, these monsters are already transported to another location, and then the climax is happening already. And that's over within like 10 minutes. It is so fast that you're like, wow, there's like no weight to this whatsoever. No emotion. It is void of all that. It's just like action sequences that are so vapid, even though they're nice to look at, they're just vapid. And there's nothing to them. There's no substance. Okay. Did I get through all that writing and directing? Yeah, I think I'm good. Like I said, directing wise, I think what he uses well to his advantage is the CGI and the green screen. It's very well done. The colors are very vivid. They're very vibrant. Some of the shot composition is very well done, especially given the Great Wall of China. We've already seen a lot of establishing shots and wide shots of that monument, but there's a lot of cool things happening on this wall in this movie that provides for some really epic cinematography. So, and acting wise, Matt Damon is terrible. He's just absolutely terrible. I think the worst thing about his performance is his accent. What accent was this? It was like a mix of like a Boston accent, an Irish accent, and a Cockney accent. It happened within the first 10 minutes of the movie, and then you see or hear it, rather, you hear it like slowly dwindle out, and towards the end of the movie, he doesn't even care anymore. He's just speaking like Matt Damon in a terrible wig, and you're like, what happened to this weird accent? Like, it just, whatever, man. So his performance is downright awful. The accent is terrible. The lines of dialogue are pretty bad. Some of the action sequences that he does and some of the stunts he does are just, they're in slow-mo. They're cheesy as hell, and you don't believe anything that's happening. It's just, no, he's a terrible lead character and a terrible performance to boot. Everyone else was also pretty bad. Some of the Chinese actors, I realize that their English is probably not the best, but one of the main characters, it's very bad. And like, I know she's trying so hard to say these lines. It's not coming across very well. It's very jaded. It's not really organic. And like, I realize she's trying, I get that, but it just did not work. And so every time when like, someone would die or she's over there to like cry and like care about them, when she utters the dialogue and it's not flowing well with her English, it's not connecting well emotionally. Or when, she's trying to give a speech or trying to do something really epic or heroic, that doesn't come across well. So the acting is atrocious. Cinematography wise, like I said, it's a gorgeous movie to look at. When we're looking at some of the battle sequences, you have a nice color palette, whether it be, filled with a bunch of grays and make it, very dreary, or filled with like a bunch of warm orange colors, but still have like this chaotic action happening in the center. It's just, there's always something visually pleasing to look at. When you mix that with the set design and art direction, because they actually tried in this movie, it's wonderful. Like, all their costumes look very well done. The props and the set of the Great Wall mixed in with the green screen, it blends in so well that I'm like, wow, this is actually a visually stunning movie. You could actually just axe the audio and characters and stuff and just have it a long battle sequence, and I would have been okay with that. And speaking of the whole, like, the visual eye candy is more than the actual substance of the story, I actually believe, and I agree with Joel, who came with me, one of my friends who came with me to the screening. I agree with him, and he said something along the lines of like, this movie's only an hour and a half, right? You know how it just everything feels rushed and there's no weight to anything and just everything's so bland and empty. This film might have benefited from an actual longer runtime. It might have actually benefited from like a 3-hour long runtime to, have all these exposition scenes mean something, or have better character development, or meaningful characters, and you mix that with the battle sequences. It could have became an epic monster war movie, and you could have had a lot of fun with it. But it just feels like the studio just chopped it in half and was just like, no, you got to tell it this way or whatever, and you just go with it. So the editing of the movie is not that good either. You have the fast-paced, well-shot, well-choreographed, sometimes action sequences, and then it's almost like it stopped to a halt with its exposition talking scenes in between them. It's just, they're so dull, and you are not engaged with this whatsoever. Like, can we please get to another battle scene? So, yeah, I think the editing is all over the place. There's no consistent rhythm to it. And even some of the scenes I found out to be very choppy when edited. Like, they'll have a conversation, right? And there'll be like both medium shots, and like Matt Damon will say like one line in a medium shot, and then the next line will be a close-up, and then it'll immediately go back to a wide, and then back to the mediums. And it was like this weird like the Russian egg doll or whatever. It's like big to small, where it was like big wide shot, medium shot, close up, and we're back to get it. It's like it didn't have any flow to it. It was just all over the place. So the editing is not that good whatsoever. Guys, I really wanted to give this movie a D+, but you know what? The visuals are so good, and the cinematography is very well done, and some of the set pieces are really well done. I want to give this movie the benefit of the doubt, and I want to bump it up because I know how hard it is as a film student, and as someone who's got their bachelor's in film or whatever and barely passed in some classes. I can tell you right now that green screen work was not my favorite. Post-production and visual effects and stuff was my weak point. Any person that can succeed in that and really kind of make it, one, beautiful, and one, seemingly blend it in pretty well with the practical scenes, I gotta give the director credit. So I was gonna put this movie in the D portion because almost everything else is terrible, but on a visual spectacle level, I will bump it up to a C-. This is not a good movie whatsoever. I wouldn't even recommend this movie. But if you're going to see it, don't see it on Redbox. Don't see it on streaming. See it in a theater. You could have fun with it. It is stupid. The acting is atrocious. The dialogue is terrible. But you might enjoy some visual eye candy, not only for film fans that are, like me and just, scrutinize movies all the time, but also casual movie fans. I think they might find some enjoyment on that level. So what did you guys think of The Great Wall? Have you even heard of it? Comment in the place from my face and let me know what you thought of this movie. And am I crazy? I'm probably crazy, but I'm sticking with my guns. I'm going to give it a C-. I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMoviescreens.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I will see you guys later.